Hey guys, it's going to be a review for test 9 on trigonometry. Okay, we're going to go super fast, so here, let's go. So Wayne needs to find the distance between Ferris and Butte and tell like what's the difference, how much shorter is the one that's over here from Ferris to Dunlap. And so we're going to have to find C, just use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And when we do all that, we're going to end up with C equals 25, but catch, that is not our answer. We got to find the difference here. So this is 25, this is 15, the difference there is 10. That is your answer. Okay, number 2. Number 2 and 3, we're doing the same way. You're just trying to find from those lengths of the triangle what kind, well, specifically number 2 is it a right angle? Is it a right triangle? So basically what we're doing is we're looking at this and we're going to, this is all you gotta make note of here. So if C squared, so always do your C being the biggest one. If C squared is equal to the A squared plus the B squared, then you have a right triangle. If C squared is greater than A squared plus B squared, then you have an obtuse triangle. And if C squared is less than A squared plus B squared, you have an acute triangle. Okay, so when we do that on number 2, this is going to be no. C squared is bigger. It's not asking what kind of triangle it is. If they did, you would know that it's an obtuse triangle. Number 3, the same thing. This number 2, they just want to know, is it right? And that's a no. Number 3, though, when we do the same thing, that one is an obtuse angle. Number 4, find the value of the variable. So basically, here's your x right here. Remember, this is a 45, 45, 90. And remember, special right triangles. If two legs are if you have a 45, 45, 90, both these legs are the same, your hypotenuse is just going to be one of these legs times the square root of 2. Well, I know here that this hypotenuse is 5, so I'm just going to say that x square root of 2 is going to equal to 5 divided by the square root of 2. We're dividing by a square root, and that's against the rules, so we're going to have to rationalize this. So multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2. If you multiply square root of 2 times square root of 2, this is just going to be 2, because that would be the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, but going forth here, you should always know that if you multiply a square root by itself, you're basically just eliminating that square root. Okay. Anyway, number 5. The area of a square garden is 98 square meters. If this whole thing is 98, that means that each of these sides of the square, because they all have the same sides, would have to be the square root of 98. And so let's just carve this in half. So I have this triangle over here. It's 45, 45, 90 because these were 90-degree angles. If we slice them in half, then that's 45, 45, 90. Remember, I already said that each of these sides is square root of 98. So this hypotenuse, based on the 45, 45, 90, is going to be one of these times the square root of 2. One of these is square root of 98 times square root of 2. That's going to give you the square root of 196, which is just going to be 14. Okay, next page. So, number 6. Find the value of x and y. Round to the nearest tenth. That's one decimal place. So you basically have a 45, 45, 90 here, back to back with a 30, 60, 90. So this is how we're going to do this. First of all, we're going to need to get this x right there. And then we need to, in order to do that, we're going to have to find out what this height is here. So I'm going to start with the 30, 60, 90. Remember the 30, 60, 90, the side that's adjacent to right next to the 60-degree angle is your key to all the rest of the sides. Okay, well, I don't know what that is, but I do know whatever this is. 2 times that is your hypotenuse, so we're just going to get half of that hypotenuse for that height. So in other words, that's going to be 17. So if that h is 17, that height is 17, then that means that this other, the side that's adjacent to that 30-degree angle is 17 square root of 3. Anyway, so I know that now this is 17. Remember, for the 45, 45, 90 portion, that's 17, so this is 17 square root of 2. So your answer is going to be for x, 17 square root of 2, which is a decimal of 24.0. And for my y, it's going to be this and this together, so 17 plus 17 square root of 3, which will be 46.4. Okay, number 7. Piece of art is going to be in a equilateral triangle, sides of 6, so 6, 6, 6 all the way around. Remember, all your angles are going to be the same. 180 degrees inside of a triangle divided by 3, so each of these is going to be 60 degrees. Well, here I have enough for, I want the area of this. Area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So I know that the base is 6. For the height, I'm going to have to find out what this is. So this is basically just going to be a 30, 60, 90. Remember, this side right here is the key to all of these. This is the one that's adjacent to the 60. Well, if that's 3, I know the hypotenuse is twice that, but I already knew that because I already knew that was 6. But this height right here is going to be 3 times the square root of 3. Okay, I needed this for the formula over here. So now I know that it's going to be 1/2 times the base 6 times the height, which is going to be 3 square root of 3, which is going to be 9 square root of 3, which as a decimal is going to be 15.6. Okay, number 8. So find the missing value. So I'm just going to say that that's an x in there. So I'm going to say cosine of x equals 2/5. Well, I just want the x. So to get rid of the cosine, I'm going to have to take the inverse cosine of both sides. The inverse cosine of x is just x. The inverse cosine of 2/5 is going to be 66.42, and this is degrees. Okay, if you use the inverse trig functions, this will be degrees. Number 9, find the missing value. The same thing like we just did on number 8. So I'm going to say sine x equals 5/9. Inverse sine of both sides. We're going to get x equals, because that cancels the sign there, x equals, this will be 15.26 degrees. Number 10, write the ratios for sine A and cosine A. So I circled that A because there's our angle right here. So let's label the triangle. Side opposite is right across from it, the 24. The hypotenuse is the one right across from your right angle, so that's 26. And your adjacent is right out here, that's 10. So your sine is just opposite over hypotenuse. Hold on one second. That was bothering me. It's going to be 24 over 26, and that reduces to 12 over 13. For cosine, cosine is a over h, adjacent over hypotenuse. That'll be 10 over 26, which reduces to 5 over 13. All right, next page. So number 11, use the trigonometric ratio to find x. So I know that that's 40. I don't know what x is here. My side that's opposite the 40 is the 4. I don't have my h, so I have my o. I have my a. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I know I have it. I know what it is. And hold that thought. Okay, sorry about that. So this is 40. The one right across from it is 4. Hypotenuse, I don't know. I know the adjacent is x. So in other words, I'm going to use tangent here because a and h is o and a is what I know. My side opposite is 4. My side adjacent is x. I don't know that. I need to solve for it. And I'm going to go from tangent of 40 degrees. So now let's just cross multiply. X times 40 equals 1 times 4 is 4. Divide by the tangent of 40. Keep in mind, remember, this is just a number. The trig function of an angle, this is just a number. And I don't want that number times the x, so just divide it on both sides. We're going to end up with 4.8. Okay? This now, I was starting to put degrees. This is not degrees, just 4.8. Okay, number 12. Find the value of x. Round to the nearest tenth, 1 decimal place. So here, from this angle, just like I just did the one before, okay, my side opposite is here. I don't know what that is. My hypotenuse is going to be the one across from your right angle. That's x. And my adjacent here is 12. I have a and h, so I'm going to use cosine. So cosine of 32 is going to be a over h. That's going to be 12 over x. Cross multiply. We're going to end up with x equals 12 over cosine 32, which is going to be 14.2. Okay, number 13. The students in Mr. Collins' class used a surveyor's measuring device to find the angle. Yada, yada, you can read the rest of that. We're going to want this to the nearest foot. So basically, this is going to be my h. I don't know what my hypotenuse is. The degree measurement right here is 72. So the side opposite is the h. I have my side adjacent as 100. I don't know how my hypotenuse, so I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to use tangent because I have o and a. So I'm going to have 1072 is going to be h over 100, cross multiply. I'm going to get h equals 308 feet. Okay, that's rounded to the nearest foot. Okay, next page. The next page, I'm going to have this up here. Okay, so we want to find the value of W. So first of all, we're going to do like what we were just doing. So from the 50 degrees is my side opposite. This is going to be my hypotenuse here. So I have sine that I can use. I don't have adjacent down here. So I'm going to say the sine of 50 is going to be W over 10. And then I can solve that for W. This is going to come out to 70.7. Remember directions. You're going to round to the nearest tenth. So it's 7.7. Well, now that I have that, that means I have this here now. So for the other triangle, I'm looking for this angle measurement right here. So from this angle, I have the side opposite, and I have the hypotenuse. Don't have it adjacent, so I'm not going to worry about that. A over h, again, I'm going to use sine. So the sine of x is going to be 7.7 over 11. And then you're going to have to take the inverse sine of both sides. You're going to get x equals 44 degrees. That's rounded to the nearest degree. Okay. Anyway, number 15. So we have this over here. Just going through this super quick. When you're talking about like what kind of angle this is, from your horizontal, like from your straight, if you're looking up like you are here, that is your angle of elevation. If we were looking down like on angle 3, that would be an angle of depression. Okay. Question is, what is your description of 2? And that would just be that angle 2 is your angle of elevation. Number 16. So find the angle of elevation of the sun from the ground. When a tree, okay, so the tree is 10 yards tall. The shadow that this casts is 14 yards. Want to know, well, what is that angle? Okay, so this is the situation that we have. So from this angle, we have the side opposite, we have the side adjacent, don't know what the hypotenuse is. O and A, we're going to use tangent. So tangent is going to be A over A. This is going to opposite over adjacent. This is going to be 10 over 14. And then from here, I just want the x. Remember, I'm looking for my angle here. So inverse 10 of both sides. I'm going to get x equals inverse 10 of 10 over 14, which is going to be 36 degrees. Remember, here we wanted to round this to the nearest, or we wanted it to the nearest degree. Okay, and last one, number 17. Find the value of x. So we have this here. Okay, now here they're giving us 40 here on the other side. Okay, this is 500 meters here. I don't know what this is here, and I don't know what this hypotenuse is here. That's x. Okay, well, how am I going to do this? First of all, this right here makes a 90-degree angle. So that's 40 on that side. Inside right here, that's 50. So we're going to use that information. So from the 50, the side opposite is here. Don't know that. My hypotenuse is the x, and my side adjacent is 500. I have the a and the h, so I'm going to use cosine. It's going to be a over h. Here I made a slight error right here. Cosine of 50 is going to be 500 over x. And you see right there I did the opposite before, but it's going to be 500 over x. And then from there, we're just going to put this over 1, cross multiply. It's going to be x cosine 50 equals 500. Remember, cosine 50 is just a number. Divide that on both sides. X equals 500 over cosine 50, which will be 777.9. And that's it. All right, guys, make sure you study, and good luck with your test.